नमो भगवते वन सेकंड ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदयन्तोस्तो हि अभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सतम् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 3, Talks between the Lord Shiva and Sati, verse 15. ऋषिर उवाच एवं गिरित्र प्रियाया विभाषिता प्राय प्रत्याभ्यधाता प्रहासान् सुहृत्प्रिया सं संस्मृतो मार्मविदा कुबुत्सिषून् यानहो को विश्वासृजं समक्षता. Synonyms. Rishi Vacha, the great sage Maitreya said, Evam, thus, Giritra, Lord Shiva, Priyaya, by his dear wife, Abhibhashita, being spoken to, Pratya Bhyadatha replied, Prahasan, while smiling, Suhut Priya, dear to the relatives, Sam Smaritha, remembering, Marma Bidha, heart piercing, Kuvak Ishun, malicious words, Yan, which words Aha said Ka who Daksha, Viswasrujam of the creators of the universal manifestation, Samakshata in the presence. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The great sage Maitreya said, Lord Shiva, the deliverer of the hill Kailasa, having thus been addressed by his dear wife, replied smilingly, although at the same time he remembered the malicious, heart-piercing speeches delivered by Daksha before the guardians of the universal affairs. But when Lord Shiva from his when Lord Shiva heard from his wife about Daksha, the psychological effect was that he immediately remembered the strong words spoken against him in the assembly of the guardians of the universe. And remembering those words, he was sorry at heart, although to please his wife he smiled. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that a liberated person is always in mental equilibrium in both the distress and the happiness of this material world. Therefore, the question may now be raised why a liberated personality like Lord Shiva was so unhappy because of the words of Daksha. The answer is given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Lord Shiva is Atma Rama, or situated in complete self realization. But because he is the incarnation in charge of the material mode of ignorance, Tamoguna, he is sometimes affected by the pleasure and pain of the material world. The difference between the pleasure and pain of this material world and that of the spiritual world is that in the spiritual world, the effect is qualitatively absolute. Therefore, one may feel sorry in the absolute world, but the manifestation of so called pain is always full of bliss. For instance, once Lord Krishna in his childhood was chastised by his mother Yashoda, and Lord Krishna cried. But although he shed tears from his eyes, this is not to be considered a reaction of the mode of ignorance, for the incident was full of transcendental pleasure. When Krishna was playing in so many ways, sometimes it appeared that he caused distress to the gopis, but actually such dealings were full of transcendental bliss. That is the difference between the material and spiritual worlds. The spiritual world, where everything is pure, is pervertedly reflected in this material world. Since everything in the spiritual world is absolute, in the spiritual varieties of apparent pleasure and pain, there is no perception other than eternal bliss. Whereas in the material world, because everything is contaminated by the modes of material nature, there are feelings of pleasure and pain. Therefore, because Lord Shiva, although a fully self realized person, was in charge of the material mode of ignorance, he felt sorrow. Om Anatimirandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya चक्षुर उन्मितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते रोमपादस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशत्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। I humbly bow down and seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to purify myself. And please forgive me for any shortcomings or misinterpretations or any my own speculations. So, we are discussing in this chapter that Sati, the wife of Lord Shiva, is convincing to go to her father's home to attend great yajna. From previous verses, we have seen that uh, his father, her father, Daksha Prajapati, conducting a yajna ceremony. So, as Daksha conducted to great sacrifices, the yajna sacrifices, he invited all the great sages and demigods from different parts of the planets, except to Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, because the conflict was still going on between them. So that's the reason Daksha is totally unhappy with previous incident, and that is the reason he haven't invited Lord Shiva. But when Sati came to know about this ceremony, she was overwhelmed, and she had a strong desire to attend the ceremony. And now she is convincing Lord Shiva to attend the ceremony, Agna ceremony, and we have been discussing about this in the previous verses in this chapter. And as she did not want to go alone, she wanted Lord Shiva to accompany with her to attend ceremony. And she observed that all the demigods and their wives are decorated with nice jewelry. Similarly, she want to attend the ceremony. That's her desire. So the Vedic literature, Vedic culture is so nice that, see, even though her father's ceremony, she is not going without the permission of the husband. I mean, like, she want to go with husband itself. She don't want to go alone. So it's a great culture in the Vedic, but currently we have lost those all these things, and we are facing the problem in our current situation in family lives as well. So from this, there is a great lesson to learn as a great application. We can use it, like, yes, how to lead a family life between husband and wife. This is a very good example. Although, yes, in Kali Yuga a lot of ups and downs come, a lot of uh, uh, like not like misunderstandings also comes within the family relationships. But here the wife can, how a wife can continue lead the life. This is a very good example from we can see it. So now, from these words, Lord Shiva replied to Sati's request. Like Maitreya continued in replying to Vidura, Lord Shiva, the deliverer of the hill Kailasa, having thus been addressed by his dear wife, replied smilingly, although at the same time he remembered the malicious or piercing speeches delivered by Daksha before the guardians of the universal affairs. So finally, he remembers the past incident where Daksha, the Prajapati, blasphemed him in front of everybody, like in front of demigods and Lord Brahma. So Lord Shiva still remembered it. So yeah, hence, like here, uh, that is the reason he is not willing to go. And in the purport, Prabhupada explained very clearly that why Lord Shiva keeping that grudge feeling towards Daksha. Like Lord Shiva, although Lord Shiva is a great Vaishnava, we all know that Vaishnavas are merciful and always forgive others. But here, Lord Shiva, unable to forget or remember the incident, because of that, he is not willing to attend the ceremony. The reason is that Prabhupada explained, I mean, taken that commentary from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, says that. why Lord Shiva is unable to forgive Daksha. In fact, he's quoting from that commentary. Although Lord Shiva is Atmaram, situated in complete self-realization, by his representing Tamoguna, mode of ignorance. That's the reason, since he is also related to Tamoguna, these lamentations, illusion, attachment, hatred, those will be manifested automatically, and he forgets his supreme powers. Even in general, whenever we are in the mode of ignorance, all these lamentations or maybe misunderstandings, this comes into the picture. So here again, the application is that we need to try to be always in the mode of goodness. We need to try. I mean, like our emphasis is has to be in the mode of goodness, so that we can be stated in the mode of goodness. So here, since Lord Shiva is representing mode of ignorance, or he is a guna avatar, but still all these external elements, external factors are coming to the picture. So, as Lord Shiva represents mental manifestation, although he represents as like Shiva Tattva, and he manifested between the eyebrows of Lord Brahma. So, when Lord Brahma is in anger, as could not able to control his anger, Lord Brahma, during that time, Lord Shiva manifested from the eyes of the Brahma. Lord Shiva is the material world represents in the material world ignorance and also called Gunavatar. In addition to this, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says that um, these external factors, when that comes, and we will forget the supreme power. I mean, like we are unable to see that supreme power, or not, it not at all visible. So whereas Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur compares, I mean, like with Krishna as well. I mean, like whereas Krishna is also satisfied because we don't see those factors in him, because Krishna always loves devotee. Krishna will be in the prema. I mean, like it always shows whatever it shows, like lamentation, illusion, attachment, or whatever it is. It has to be. It is in the prema only, not in ignorant. In the state of ignorant. So you have come. Krishna also did a lot of pastimes when he's in the material world with Yashoda, Baladev, gopis. That's what Prabhupada explained in the purport. Uh, Krishna shows all these emotions. That's the reason in order to understand about Krishna, and we need to study the scriptures and hear from the sadhus and gurus, so that we can understand very clearly. Otherwise, we will interpret our own self, our own interpretations, and it will be very difficult. It will be perverted knowledge. We will get it. So in the Bhagavad Gita 9 point level also, Krishna says like avajananti ma moda manushinam tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto mam bhuta maheshwaram. So like when in the translation meaning is that when Krishna says that when I appear in this material world, people do not understand me, and they ride me, because for common people Krishna seems to be normal, but all his activities are full of transcendental. Krishna shows his love towards his devotees. Krishna tries to hide himself by his yoga maya. That's why when Krishna present in this material world, when he's dealing with his mother Yashoda, Gopis, and all their friends, he was not showing his supremacy, because he wants to exchange love. He does not want rebellious or any kind of other relationship. So he always want pure love between him and his devotees. So that's why he's showing all these such emotions. Krishna also shown the emotions like Lord Shiva, but this here is like pure love, but there is a mode of ignorance is present. And finally, the after difference based off of this tamoguna and pure love, Prabhupada further says that it is said a liberated person is always a mental in a mental equilibrium in both distress and happiness of this material world. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkheda agama paino nityas tam stiti shashva bharata. So here the translation is, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course, or the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from the sense perception, O son of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. And although the Lord Shiva is in equilibrium, but we see that these reactions because Lord Shiva represents Tamoguna. That's why Lord Shiva shows anger, whereas Krishna does not see such reaction. Even though when Krishna killed the demon, he immediately liberated them. So there is a difference. But again, question comes like Lord Shiva, why, even though he's a Vaishnava, why he not merciful? Because he's setting an example that he, due to the ignorant, that nature, the state, he is an incarnation, he is in charge of that one, so those reactions are automatically coming, those external factors are automatically exhibiting in self. So in our life also, when we see, when we in the mode of goodness, definitely our activities will be very nice. Even small activities, when we cook in the mode of goodness, when we offer that prasadam, the voga, we will get the taste is different, even as a small example. And similarly, in a work culture or wherever it is, when we do an activity in the ignorant, definitely we will see some degree of failurity in that activity. So like the application part is that definitely we need to be in the mode of goodness always, so that our practices, whatever it be activities we will do in our day-to-day life, it will be in the mode of goodness, so we won't have much reaction from those activities. So from this, I will stop here. Thank you again for the opportunity.